Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Water Songs Workshop, the place where I work on my character ideas, note art challenges, and try to make your day a little bit brighter. Welcome back. Here's another episode of Pokémon as D&D characters. It's one of my favorite projects. I've been doing this for a long time now. By a long time, I mean like 2 years. It's not that long, actually. Here's what we've done so far. We have talked about the party. We also talked about some pretty important NPCs. You'll also probably notice there's another character there that wasn't in any of my videos, and that is because I forgot to record her. That is Ralda. She is based off Kangaskhan, and that's her little kid, Toko. She was the keeper of an inn. We don't need to go too much into her. We love her. The party loves her. Yeah. But today, we're going to be talking about some warlords that we met at a grand feast called the Feast of Three. And this is where we ended up running into Razdan, Kenna, and Gagoris, and basically had to decide our fate on who we wanted to follow to try and end this war. We're going to be talking about the two warlords they brought with them to this feast, and I hope you all love it. Alright, let's jump in. Let's start with a lot of people's favorite Pokemon. We'll start with Lunessa Levay. She is a Twilight Cleric who, patron is Themis, who is the goddess of the moon. I have not drawn her yet, but we will get there eventually. Lunessa is based off of the Gardevoir. She is the lead researcher at the Skyward Sanctum. Now, Gardevoir is usually a pretty easy Pokemon to draw, as she's fairly already humanoid. The DM wanted her to be armored, though, which was a interesting take on Gardevoir, but I love the way she came out. She is almost constantly praying and has like this purple shadowy magic that surrounds her. She's a big sweetheart. She has a bit of a Southern Belle accent, if I remember correctly, and she is deeply emotional and loves the people, so you can see why she would be one of Razdan's top choices to bring to this meeting, as she is the one who he trusts the most with emotional and making decisions for the people. But here you go. Here's the finished picture of Gardevoir, or Lunessa Levay, as a Twilight Cleric. Let's move on to someone a bit sturdier. This next one is Madame Helriga. She is on Gagoris' side. She is a paladin. She is the captain of Gagoris' military. She's actually a metal construct. She's not even like full human. I don't know if the party knows that actually, but I know that, special privileges. She uses a giant warhammer and a tower shield, and she has been through some fights. I wanted to make sure I got all Celix's segments in here somehow, so I gave her this long bubble braid sort of ponytail with a bunch of like sections off. I wanted to make sure I got in that ruggedness. I wanted to make sure I got in that absolute unit of a person. And so Madame Helriga is that strong build. I think you said she was like 6. I think the DM said she was like 6'5" or something. She is tall. But yeah, here's my finished concept of Felix as a paladin. Also on Gagoris' side, we have Pyrothas Emberspeaker. He is a sorcerer/paladin, and he is the head magistrate of Arcane Studies. He is based off of Camerupt, as you can probably tell by the cow-like face and the long robe. Pyrothas is a cowfolk. He is the most arcane knowledgeable person in Gagoris' territory. As we've talked about previously, Gagoris militarizes anyone who uses magic in his world, and during the Feast of Three we found out why. Turns out, Kenna used her magic on Gagoris' son and wife, and they are no longer with us. And so he thinks magic is incredibly dangerous, if not kept a watchful eye on. Camerupt is one of those people that he has put into his military, or Pyrothas is one of those people that he's put into his military. And now, we have to deal with a magic user if we piss Gagoris off. But yeah, here's my finished concept for Camerupt as a sorcerer/paladin. let's move over to Kenna's side of the war now. The first one we're going to be talking about is Voltrax Stormbearer. He is a Storm Herald Barbarian, and he is the head of security for Gehenna. Voltrax is inspired by Electivire. We found out that Gehenna recognized his potential and opened up, as he said, limitless possibilities for him. That was all the context we got when we talked to him. He seemed kind of like a brat. I'm not gonna say brat. He came off like a frat bro. That was my perspective anyways. But yeah, he apparently has some cords wrapped around his arms that generate electricity into his punches. And he is frightening to think about fighting. But I actually really love the design with him. I think he looks crazy in the best of ways. But yeah, here's my finished concept for Electivire as a Storm Herald Barbarian. Alright, you thought the last one was the strongest barbarian in our military? Not by a long shot. Let's meet Glazevor Irontusk. Glazevor is a Storm Herald Barbarian as well. He is the captain of Gehenna's military and her most trusted advisor. He is actually an orc. He had a genetic mutation where his tusks grow down instead of upwards, make him look a bit like a walrus, because he is inspired by Walrein. He is actually from Pessil, which is the ice-covered tundra in the very southeast of Cronin, which we didn't even know had a village there for a long time in this war, apparently. He was the one who went to Henna and said, "My village would love to support you," and she said, "There's a village there?" So, that new territory was probably the most recent part of this war. I love the design I did for Glazevor. I am absolutely terrified to fight this man because he looks so strong. Big fluffy cape, sharp axe, tattoos down the arms. He looks like a menace. But yeah, here's my finished interpretation of Walrein as another Storm Herald Barbarian. Finally, let's go back to Raston and finish with the other warlord that he brought to the meeting. That is Zytherian Stormthunder. He is a Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer, and he's the head Arcanist / Draconic Studies Professor at the Skyward Sanctum. He's based on Grandpa. Apparently, Zytherian used to be in an adventuring party with Valden's mother, my character, Valden, Lady Aviata Key. So, when Valden found out about that, he was asking him non-stop questions, because part of Valden's story that I didn't get to cover was that Valden's mother was doing her final performance when she was impaled through the chest with an ice spike, and he's trying to figure out who done it, basically. And thinking that his mother had no enemies, finding out that she used to be in an adventuring party with Zytherian, he tried to figure out everything he could. Is still in the middle of trying to figure out everything. Is actually, in our current campaign, going to his office now to talk more about what she was studying before she was off. But yeah, design-wise, I love getting to draw an old dragonborn. Like, he's just adorable. But yeah, here's my finished interpretation of Grandpa as a Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer. Right, and that is everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Which warlord do you think you would want on your side, and which one would you be most excited to fight based off of what I said? For me personally, I would want Madame Helrika on my side, and I'm terrified of fighting Glazevor. However, as Valden, my character, I would want Zytherian on my side, and I would be terrified of fighting Hierophas, because magic is still unknown, and volatile in this world. And he seems the most scary. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you think. Which one do you want to fight? Which one do you want on your side? If you'd like to support me further, you can find me on Patreon. You can be part of my family. You can be part of the Discord channel. And there's even some higher tiers where I will give you free commissions once a month. But anything is helpful. I enjoy anyone who comes and watches these videos. Speaking of shouting out at the end of the videos, and also a special shout out to my Sparkle tier members, PillageTheVillage, timepixie, and our newest member, Jackie. Thank you all so much for supporting me. It really means the world to me. I appreciate you so much. Thank you all so much. I love you all. I can't wait to hear from you. I can't wait to show you the whole rest of this series. I've actually already drawn up to number 12. I'm only recording number 6 right now, so we've got plenty coming. But thank you so much. Keep being fantastic, and until next time, I'll see you around.